Well, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube. I am back on TikTok and I am loving it. Today, we're going to talk about mainstream media. Are they getting it right? Is this a smear campaign or is it just bad research? Check this entire story out. This is a PI working alongside with a local reporter to smear and lie to the public, and it makes me wonder, what do they have to hide and why are they working around the clock to stifle this information? There's an issue here with an unscrupulous PI and now a local news organization. And we need to know, did they intentionally get this wrong or did they just not fact find the story? Either way is a problem for me in mainstream media. Alternative media has been bringing light to these cases and truth to these cases in the absence of legitimate work from news organizations around this country. We love news organizations. I want them to thrive. I want all of us to work together in this environment, but it's hard when you see these horrible stories come out and the researchers, the producers, the board of directors, and the reporter don't do anything to actually fact check the information. It's a problem for me, and it should be a problem for you. Check this out. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims. Good morning, my beautiful people of TikTok. I decided to come live here first before doing the live on my YouTube channel. I'll be downloading this. I just wanted to come by, say hi to you guys. We're still advocating for Sebastian Rogers. Listen, did WSMV get punked? I'm just curious because this Yahoo PI, which is not a legit, he's licensed. Licensed and being legitimate are two totally different things. This illegitimate PI, because he's not private, he's public. He tries to say he works for people, and I don't know if he does or not. But I keep wondering if WSMV is punked or they are just so in left field that they don't do their due diligence in their reporting, which is one of the reasons why I come on my social media, why I am part of alternative media. It's because of nonsense like this that gives good-hearted journalists and news reporting bad names. This is an unsubstantiated, not saturated in any type of fact, because what they're saying, they're claiming in their article that this private investigator has made a filing into our federal case. Well, that couldn't be any further from the truth. What am I talking about? So WSMV decided to put this article up on their site. Now, there's this article. I'm going to read it for you. It says, Hendersonville, Tennessee, Seth Rogers, father of 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, recently joined Duane Dog Chapman in filing a preliminary injunction against several people who have joined the search for the teenager. The injunction request cites interference and obstruction as the reason for the filing. One private investigator involved in the search, I'm not going to say his name because this is a publicity stunt more so than anything else, they state filed a non-party opposition to the injunction, claiming he is actively engaged in the search of Sebastian Rogers. A preliminary and ultimate permanent would undermine the real search for the boy. That's what him and his organization and the people he's affiliated with have been doing, and why he needs to get out of the case altogether. But hey, if he's being paid by the mom and the stepfather to run interference and to have these salacious claims, they can deal with that on a different situation. But my thing is this WSMV report is stating that this is filed in the case. I would think that if somebody is going to run a report, a smear campaign, or a counter article, you would think it would be saturated in fact, which it is not. As you see, this is pulled this morning, and there are 3 entries in this. There is a complaint, the preliminary injunction, and the receipt for the case. That's what's in the file as of today. WSMV ran a story knowing that this Yahoo did not file that into the case. This was all for smoke and mirrors. This is all nonsense, quite frankly, because if he had filed it correctly, you would see it right here. You do not see it. Let me move I don't think I'm going to be able to get my couch out of the way. Nothing's here. So why would they intentionally lie to their audience and the people that trust them to get their facts and reporting of the news there in their local area? Why would they intentionally and willfully lie? Now, they have the same case number, they have access to the same information, and they could have absolutely pulled all this information and chose not to do it. Chose to run with the story knowing that this is not filed into the case. This, to me, is a PR stunt. This is a way to get this man's name in this article. It's a way to smear and undermine this lawsuit. And WSMV, like I said, swampy area there in Hendersonville. And I have had high regard for some of, I didn't like Channel 5, Nick Barris. I won't talk to him, won't interview with him, won't have anything to do with him. But WSMV is the news organization that gave us the green shirt interview. And just because somebody has a cute little file covering over their paperwork that they submit, they are acknowledging that it was filed into the court system. And I pulled all of this crap this morning just to be on the safe side before I reported incorrectly to my audience. And clearly, there are 3 items here, only 3 items here, and nothing with a non-party opposition. And I don't know if he's going to actually be a non-party with all of his statements that he's made without corroboration or any scintilla of evidence related to Seth. I find it awfully funny that this Yahoo, this private investigator, is going around saying that Seth is a pedo and all this other nonsense related to Seth Rogers, the biological father of this missing boy, and yet he's waiting for a court proceeding so he can get the evidence. Dude, you're saying it out of your mouth. You would think that if you're saying it out of your mouth, you would have the evidence to support the statements coming out of your mouth. But it says, my standing as a non-party opposer in this arises from the plaintiff's attempts to secure a preliminary and permanent injunction, Fisher explains in his opposition, which would undermine the integrity of the investigation. You mean like lying under oath, like your client's lying under oath to secure a protective order, knowing damn well I've never threatened somebody, never even been around them, but that doesn't undermine this investigation? Okay, Cupcake. Again, we have WSMV. We have just caught lying about what's going on in this case, and literally taking everything this Yahoo says as truth, yet this filing is not in the federal filing, and they are providing a report to their audience that this has been filed in the federal filing. Please produce the federal filing that this is filed in, because it's not in our case. And that's what they're trying to say. But it was not about the truth. It was about giving this Yahoo a plug. Shame on WSMV for their reporting in this matter. So I wanted to clarify all the information for you. We have been going through the case of Sebastian Rogers. The reward has been increased to $125,000. $125,000. We can thank Dog, the bounty hunter, along with Nick the Hat, for their amazing contribution in trying to find answers in this case of Sebastian Rogers. I can tell you that his father is desperately missing his son, and with every passing day, it gets a little harder and a little harder for him, as you guys can imagine, and to have to be dealing with all this from these yahoos is ridiculous. Being called a pedo when you're just trying to find your son. You've never broken a law. You're a deputy sheriff. You weren't even, they're making allegations that he did something with Katie back when she was a kid or whatever like that. Do you guys know that the time frame that they are talking about, Katie and Seth weren't even living in the same state? Weren't even living in the same state. Kind of hard to do the kinds of things that this Yahoo is implying were done when they weren't even in the same stinking state. Don't you guys agree that you need to be in close proximity, like face to face with one another, to do these acts that this bunk PI is stating? I'm just saying. You take it for what you will. But I don't think he is necessarily a non-party in all of this. I think he's part of the problem. I think he's passing around bunk and unsubstantiated claims with no facts to support them. And I think you guys need to understand what's the difference. Is if you're going to say somebody is a pedo, you should have the evidence in your possession, custody, and control that suggests that. You shouldn't allege it and then ask for the collection of evidence to support it. And that's kind of where this whole true crime TikTok and YouTube thing has been going. It's like, oh, people can just say whatever they want out of their mouth without any supporting evidence. And then it's like, oh, well, you need to send us the receipts to prove us wrong. No, you need to have the receipts before you open your mouth and say something is fact when you don't have the receipts to support something as fact. And that's what we've been dealing with on these social media platforms. I do boots on the ground. I get the facts. I don't open my mouth and say something's factual unless it's in my hot little hands and I can turn it around and say, see, So we've got to be smarter about this. Shame on WSMV for running this bunk story without doing one scintilla of fact-finding or research to find out whether this Yahoo is being true. He played them for a PR stunt, and they willingly helped him do it. So I thought this was an important story to run this morning about the failures of mainstream media in times like this. We have good mainstream media that do their due diligence before they run the story, and then we have crackpots. Who did this story? Tony Garcia. Tony Garcia decided to run this story without doing one scintilla of fact-finding. So, Tony, you're in the hot seat. Do better in your reporting to your area that relies on you to have the correct facts. This was not filed. This is just a bunch of papers he sent to you. Don't know what to say. You were fooled. Get it right next time. But I think a correction is absolutely necessary in a situation like this. Guys, we will be on our YouTube channel for most of the day today. I'm still recovering from Helene as well as Milton. I finally got all of the shrubbery and debris. Well, not all of it. There's still the metal, but all the wood stuff and the fence. All the trees that were down. I had 5 down trees in my yard. Those have all been brought to the road. And I am just trying to recover from these horrible storms that made it onto my coast. As many of you know, I'm the west coast of Florida, and it has been very, very hard recovering from back-to-back storms. Never in my 45 years in this county, this is where I was born and raised, have ever experienced anything like this. I can tell you that. The destruction of my home over the last few years has been pretty great. I've lost my entire fence. Many of you know 2 years ago with Ian, I lost my roof. And so I'm just still putting one foot in front of the next and everything like that. We do have a GoFundMe. As you guys know, my freedom is in jeopardy because of this nonsense with these lies and being able to lie under oath, being co-signed by what, in my opinion, a corrupt sheriff's office. And I feel like I was jaded by the judge. So we're having to appeal everything, and we're going to continue to appeal it until we get it out of that county and move to a higher court, where I feel like I will be tried on the law instead of people's feelings and emotions. So at the end of the day, guys, we're still rocking it out with our coffee beans out. We're still advocating for this beautiful boy. His name's Sebastian Rogers. I hope you guys continue to support this channel. Continue. I don't have it with me. My mods usually put it in. I'll try to make a post later today with the information for the GoFundMe. But we're trying to raise $30,000. We're almost to about $4,000 in that account. The appeal is going to cost a lot of money. That's not, the GoFundMe's not going into my personal bank account. I am not playing those games. It is going directly over to my attorney's escrow account. So I just want to clarify, because a lot of people do some sneaky and really underhanded crap on these platforms for money. I don't do GoFundMe's, and this is going directly to my attorney. I don't mess with this stuff. I don't like GoFundMe's. I don't like asking for money, but this is a situation I can't avoid doing it. And so I figured the best way to keep everybody's hands clean is just send it over to the attorney, have it go from GoFundMe right to his escrow account, and I'm, absolved of any of the nonsense that people do on these platforms. It's ridiculous. It's scamming behavior, in my opinion. But however it may be, as soon as I can, I will. Yes, it is. You can go on GoFundMe. Let me show you what it looks like. Maybe that'll help. Hold on. Actually, I could probably GoFundMe. This is what it looks like. It says Stand with Betty right there. Oops, sorry. It says Stand with Betty. So I think if you typed in Stand with Betty, you'll be able to find it on there. But it says Stand with Betty, protecting truth and freedom. Protecting truth and freedom. But you'll see this right here. Sonia set it up. This is legitimate, even though it's not coming from me. This is a legitimate, this is going to my attorney. It's for $30,000 to do the appeals, and it gives you an explanation of everything down here, along with the link and the case number if you'd like to check out the case. Just to inform people, what happened is the stepfather and mother, as well as the step-grandparents, lied under oath to obtain protective orders, which are usually used whenever you're in fear for your safety. But they used this in an effort to shut my mouth, to shut me up. And they filed it a month after I left. I had only been there. I only went there for 3 days. I was there for a total of 3 days. And it was mostly filming and meeting with people and posting flyers. Did not talk to anybody. Did not talk to their neighbors, did not disrupt them, stayed on public property, stayed pretty much in my car, except with the exception of posting flyers. And, still nothing I did was illegal. But a month later, when they realized we were doing a gathering of voices, they decided to file protective orders against me, but they lied under oath, saying I was going to threaten them with a gun, I was threatening them with a machete. All that, you can see the videos themselves and exactly what was stated. I have never threatened anybody with fear of their life ever, and never would. It's illegal to do so. I pride myself of being lawful and legal. And so my attorney told me not to show up for that hearing because I wasn't properly served. And not only that, they only gave me 48 hours to get there. There was no way I was going to be there in time. And so they entered 3 of those orders in on default. And even though they were saturated in lies, and when we informed the judge that I was not properly served, the judge did not care. he violated my rights and kept those in place and took away my gun. And then they turned around and arrested me for using hashtags and threatening to sue these people that lied under oath. You can't, there's no contact there. I've never said a threat to these, I've never even spoken to these people with the exception, there's no contact there. I've never said a threat to these, I've never even spoken to these people with the exception of Chris at one time through Messenger. Other than that, I have not even spoke with the stepfather or anything like that. I mean, it was one time, and it was early. I think like around April or something like that. I forgot all about it, but that was it. I haven't seen these people, and so this judge didn't care about service of process, and they arrested me for hashtags and threatening to sue. My constitutional rights, never threatened them with bodily harm. The man sat on in front of the judge and said he's never met me and he's never personally spoken to me, and I've never personally threatened the man. Yet they put a protective order. This is all orchestrated, and so we're fighting the disgusting and improper ruling, in my opinion, and I'm facing a year in jail for using hashtags. For using hashtags in Florida. Never threatened anybody, never broke a law, never did anything. So we're raising $30,000 to appeal all these bad rulings. I feel like when I go there on November 20th, this guy is just going to look to find a way to throw me in jail. He doesn't care about the law. All they care about is shutting me up. They're not worried about me causing any harm to anybody. It's all about my commentary, and that is the most un-American thing you can possibly do in America, is to stifle free speech and the freedom of press. And that's what this little county is doing to Bullhorn Betty. So we're standing up and saying, no, we're not doing that. And as a matter of fact, we are absolutely going after the people that helped orchestrate this to me, as well as other people such as Chasing Crimes, Brittany J., a few other content creators that have been attacked ridiculously by this corrupt organization of content creators that are doing horrible things. So that's kind of where we sit right now. Then that's the purpose for the $30,000. We have to fight these horrible, because I can't leave that county where people can just use hashtags and lie under oath and get their way, and it be co-signed by law enforcement as well as the judge. Higher courts need to rein that crap in, and they need to rein that crap and lie under oath and get their way, and it be co-signed by law enforcement as well as the judge. Higher courts need to rein that crap in, and they need to rein that crap in very quickly. So we'll see what goes on with this afterwards, but you guys have a great day. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. We'll be here the rest of the week talking about Sebastian Rogers. We have 3 other cases that we're also looking at and going to be diving into as well. So hopefully you guys stay around for those. This is really heartfelt stuff. These are real life people, and these are real life families that need real life help. So God bless you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. God bless.